Hi, and welcome to day 10 of Python Challenge. And today we're going to talk about tuples in Python. So without further ado, let's get started. So we're going to talk about tuples. The tuples are very similar to list, and there is only one difference between a tuple and list, and that's it, that the tuples are immutable, meaning that we cannot change the context of tuples, and we're going to talk about this more. So an example here is we assign first of all, we define the tuple by normal parentheses. So in this case, we have a tuple with three members here. So if we print and we assign it to the variable x, if we print the second item, which is, because it starts from 0, it's actually the last one. When we print the x square bracket 2, we're going to have Joseph. Another example is a list of a tuple of 3 items basically, and we assign it to variable y. And when we print y, we get exactly what we had in this variable. When we print the max function of y, we get the maximum one, which is in this case 9. We can do the same for loops creation that we had previously. For example, here we can have for integer or int iter in y. We're just going to print the itr. So in this case, we're going to print the member of tuple, which is 1, 9, and 2. So as I mentioned, the difference is the tuples are immutable, meaning that we cannot alter or change the content of the tuple. In this case, they are very similar to the string. So if you remember, we couldn't change the content of the strings, and this is characteristics that differentiate tuples from list. So in this example, as you see, we have a list of 3 items. We have a square bracket. So square bracket is, as you remember, was a list. We have 3 items, 9, 8, 7. We want to know what's the content of the second item. So this is the item number 0, item number 1, and item number 2. In this case, the 0 and 2, this, I think this, I'm sorry, we are not printing it, we are just assigning 6 to the item number 2. So 6 will replace 7. When we print it, we see that the 6 has replaced the 7. This is an example of a string. So string, we identify them with the quotation or single quotation here. So we have string of ABC. We assign it to the variable y. We try to replace the second item in that string with the letter D, but we get a traceback that string does not support item assignment. In this example, we are using the parentheses, which identifies a tuple. So Z is our tuple. It has 3 items, and in this case, we are trying to replace the item number 2, which is 3, with value 0. We get the same traceback that we cannot, that the tuple object does not support item assignment. So again, tuples are very similar to list, but they are immutable, meaning that we cannot change the content of it. Okay, so there are a couple of things that we cannot do with tuples. For example, here we have a tuple of 3 items, 3 to 1. We assign it to the variable x. We try to call the method sort. In this case, we get a traceback because, again, the content of it and the order of it in the tuple we cannot change. So that's one of the things that we cannot do with tuple. The other thing is append. We cannot append an item to an existing tuple. We have to basically delete that and recreate it again. So that's another things that we cannot. That's another method that we don't have. We cannot use it in tuples. The other one is reverse, which is basically changing the orders again, because it's the immutability of the tuples. We don't have these options and we cannot use it here. So we have to be mindful that there are some methods that, unlike list, we cannot use on the tuples. A question that might come is, so why we use tuples? So tuples, they have some advantages, meaning that in terms of memory and speed, they use less memory than list, and they are much faster to access compared to list. So those two are kind of like advantages of having a tuple. But at the same time, we have to forego for some of the method that we could use in list, and so we cannot use those methods in the tuple. Okay, so here again we kind of call the functions. We kind of identify what functions each list and tuple can have. So here we create a list, assign it to variable L. We do the method dir, and we get, for example, append, count, extend, index, insert, pop, remove, reverse, sort. But for tuple, we do the same. We create a tuple, new tuple, assign it to the variable t. When we do the method dir, we just get count and index. So again, there are some differences in the methods that we can call upon a tuple compared to a list. Okay, as mentioned before, tuples are more efficient. We cannot modify them, but they are more simpler and more efficient, and they use less memory compared to list. And I think lots of programmers, or in a lot of program that we write, if we want to have just a temporary variable, just create it for a specific time and then delete it, we prefer to use tuple over list. So those are the pros and cons of using tuple versus a list. Okay, so here we can see the assignment of the tuples. So for example, in this example, we have a tuple of 2 items, 4 and string of Fred. Because we have 2 items on the other side of the assignment, we can have 2 variable also, and we can print, when we print any of those variables, we get the corresponding counterpart basically of that item that we see in the tuple. So in this case, y is corresponding to Fred, and we'll get the Fred when we try to print it. in this case, we have a tuple of 99 and 98. We assign it to A and B respectively. Then we print A. We get the first item in the tuple. In this case, that's 99. So we can have this kind of like dual assignment of tuples. And that's how we can use it, basically. Okay, so in this slide, we're going to talk about tuples and dictionaries. We create a dictionary, we assign it to D. We have the key of CZIF and assign the value of 2. We have the key of Sven and we assign the value of 4. So this dictionary has 2 items, 2 keys, and actually, so the 2 items of these dictionaries are tuple, and each has a key and value. So the first key is CZIF and the value 2. The second key is Sven, the value of 4. So here we have a loop for key and value in this dictionary item. We're going to print K and value, key and value basically. So the output would be the first key is CZIF, value 2, the second key is Sven, value 4. Now, if we create if we assign this dictionary to a tuple, we get a tuple with 2 items. So the first is the key, and the second is the variable, the value. So here CZIF and 2, Sven and 4. Basically, the item method in dictionaries return a list of key or values which is in form of tuple. So this method, item method, so for example here d.item will return a tuple with key and value structure, data structure. So we can also compare the values that are in a tuple. So for example, in this case, we are using the comparison operation. In this case, smaller than. So we said that the tuple 0, 1, 2 is smaller than 5, 1, 2. And the way it works is we start comparing the first item of the left tuple to the first item of the right tuple. So in this case, we start from 0. So 0 is indeed smaller than 5. So we don't go further to compare anymore. This is a true value. This is a true statement. And we get the output of the true. We don't check the other items here. The next one here, we have 0 is not greater than 0 here. So I don't know why here we have true. That's something that I have to look for later. So, but in this case, this is not true, and I think this should be false. I will run this and I will check it. This to me looks like this should not be true. This should be false, unless this is smaller and equal sign. So if this is a smaller than equal sign, you know what? I don't know, to be honest. I have to check this one. I will check this one and I'll put a comment in the description. Okay, for the next one, we compare Jones with the Jones. They are identical. So we go to the next one. We get to Sally. So S is identical, A is identical, L comes before M, so this will be true. And in the next one, we have Jones, we have Adam. So in this case, J has a greater value than A, so this comparison will be true. Now, in this slides, we're going to talk about sorting list of tuples. So, of course, we can take advantage of the ability to sort a list of tuples to get the sorted version. So this is going back to the problem that we were trying to solve, which is the highest number in the string, or the most frequent word in a file. So in this case, we're gonna so what we're gonna do first, we're gonna have a list of tuples, basically. So we have a list of tuples, and we start with sorting that list, and by different way of sorting, we can get the highest number or the lowest number in that list. So basically, first we sort the dictionary by the key using the item method, and then we use the sort function to sort that, basically getting the highest value or lowest value. So in this case, we have a dictionary of three basically key and value. So the key A has value 10, key B has value B, key C has value 22. Now, we use the item method excuse me, to get a list. So this is a list of tuples that represent that dictionary. So in this case, when we use the item method, we get the list of the tuple, and now we use the sort function on that list of tuples, and it will sort ascending based on the alphabetic order. So we're going to have A here, then we're going to have B here, and then we're going to have C here. So we use the combination of item method and sort function to identify or sort the list of a dictionary ascendingly, based on the ascending order. We have a way to do it descendingly also. We're going to talk about it in the next slide. So here, going back again, so we're going to use the sort function again. So we have a dictionary values, key values, key values, key values. And here, we're going to use the sort function on the same dictionary. And the content of the T would be list of tuple with key and values, key and values, key and values. And now we create a for loop, which says that for key and value in the sorted basically sorted list of tuples, we're going to print k and value. In this case, the first k is going to be A, value is going to be 10, B 1, C 22. So that's how we use the sort function to sort function and for loop to get a list of the content of a dictionary. So now till now we use the sort function to sort based on the key of the dictionary part. So, but now we want to sort them by the value. So we want to see how we can use the sort function and for loops to find the highest value of a dictionary or the lowest value of a dictionary. So in this case, we're going to find the highest value or I'm sorry, we're gonna sort them based on descending order, starting with the highest value. So we have a dictionary, key value, key value, key value, we call it C. We create a list, call it TMP, and for the key and values in the C.items, which is our dictionary, we're gonna append that in reverse order. We're gonna, because here we had key and values, but we're gonna take the value first and the key second, and we're gonna append it to the temporary list that we created. So if we print our TMP list, we have exact same dictionary with the reverse order, value and key, value and key, value and key. Now, we're going to use the sort function on this list, and we're going to have one parameter here, which is reverse is equal to true, which means that if we didn't have this reverse is equal to true, we would sort them ascendingly, but now because the reverse is true, we're going to sort them by descending order. So, but in this case, we're going to start with the highest one, which is 22. So value 22, key C. The next highest value is 10. The key is A. And the last one is 1. The key is B. So we sorted a dictionary based on the ascending order using sort and sort function and the for loop. And of course the tuple that we used in the list, the temporary list that we had here. Okay, now we want to find the top 10 most common word in a file. The way that we do it is we open the file name, and with the file name we open it, we put it on the file handler variable. We create a dictionary, we call it counts, and this part, if you remember, was from the last module that we had, dictionaries, how to count the word and the number of its occurrence in a file. So that's exactly what we had before. So for each line in that file that we opened, we're gonna use the split function. We're gonna use every word. We're gonna split that line to word, and we assign it to the variable word with the S. So this would be a list of all the words that we have in each line after all of this for loop has been completed. So for each word that we have in the word with the S variable, we're gonna count that word, and so this is gonna be basically the key part of the dictionary, and this is gonna be the value of the dictionary. So this would count the words and basically assign it to the key that we have here. So this eventually go back to the counts. So the counts would be a key and value of all the words that we have here. So the key and the number of repetition of them would be in this variable here. And that's a dictionary. Now, we create a list, and we say for the key and value in the counts, which this will give us a list with the tuple containing those members of the dictionary. We're going to create a new tuple variable. We're going to change the order of key and value. So we're gonna have value and key here, and then we're gonna append that new value to the list that we have. So this list would be a list of tuples with the content of the dictionary that we had, with the reverse order, with the order of value and keys instead of keys and values. So that would be exactly, basically, so this was our dictionary. This would be our list with the tuple of the dictionaries that we had with the reverse order, values and keys. Now we're gonna sort that LST variable, and we're gonna have the option reverse is equal to true, which means that we are not gonna do ascending order, we're gonna do descending order, meaning that the highest value would be the first. So the most repetitive, the most word that has been repeated will be on the first. We put it back to the LST. Now, this part is easy. For value and key in the LST, and we have a square bracket, space comma, space column 10, which means the first 10 member of the LST, which is 0 till 9, not including 10, which is the first 10 basically, because we are counting 0. So this is going to be the first 10, and we're going to get the value and the key, and we're going to print the value. Again, here we're going to do the key and value. So we're going to replace it, reverse it here again. So we will have the top 10 most common words in that file that we open. Now, there is a way that we can kind of concise what we talked about here. So this is kind of a very structural and classic algorithm and data structure that we had. If we want to do the same job a bit in a concise and succinct manner, we can use this. So we have our dictionary with key values, key values, key values. We're gonna print and apply the sort function to here. So here in this square bracket, so this is going to be a list of our tuple. So v and k, value and key, is going to be the list of our tuple, which is going to generate, this is a dynamic list of tuple. So we're going to kind of generate it on the fly. So we're going to have a for loop for key and value in the dictionary, c.items. So it goes through each of key and value that we have here. And for example, for A and 10, we're going to have value and key. It's going to be 10 and A. So we will have a dynamic list of tuple in this square bracket, which is going to be 10A, 1B, 22C. And on top of that, we're going to sort it. So we don't use the reverse function anymore. We just use this normal sort. So it's going to be sorting ascending. So we start from 1, 10, and 22, and we're going to print it. So this is the more concise and succinct version of code that we talked previously in this slide. So yes, So what we talked about today was we talked about the tuple syntax. We talked about the immutability of tuple. We understand that we cannot change the content of a tuple. We talked about how we can we can compare them. We can talk how we can sort them. We talked about tuples in assignment statement, and we talked about sorting dictionaries by either keys or values. As usual, we have to mention that this slide was used from Mr. Charles Reverence, and I took the material from Python for Everyone website. Thank you for listening.